Now, you mentioned that ISIS may use these airstrikes in their recruitment efforts because they're not being that damaging. So let's talk about their recruitment videos for a second. Social media is not a new tactic for ISIS. It's a very well-used tactic. And in the last Democratic primary debate, the one right before Christmas, Hillary Clinton accused Donald Trump of being the subject of ISIS recruitment videos. Now, this was proved to be false at the time. Later, he was used in a recruitment video from another radical Islamic group. But in your opinion, is it important for America to take into consideration who or what ISIS is using in their recruitment videos?
Well, sure. It's important. This is a propaganda war, and I liken ISIS to like the Nazis, where they will kill, destroy, do anything. There are no ground rules with them. They are an ideology. They must be defeated. So you have to not just defeat them militarily, but you have to defeat the ideology. Everyone in the country, especially the modern Muslims, must regard the Islamic extremists as so disreputable, so disgusting, like we would feel about the Nazis, that no one would join them. And right now we're losing that war. We're not even going in that war. So where are we with the social media? They can use Trump all they want, but they monitor what we do and they try to use that against us. We've got to develop our own social media war, like we did in World War II. That's the only way to ultimately defeat this enemy, which is not just ISIS, but ISIS is just the latest symptom of the problem.
Right. It's shocking and it's pathetic that an organization that has anywhere from 30,000 to 40,000 terrorists is outdoing a country like the United States in a propaganda war. It's terrible. I actually saw a video from them a few months back where they were trying to recruit doctors to come to ISIS, and the propaganda video said nothing about their religious beliefs, nothing about their violence, just about the fact that they wanted doctors to come in this new mission. It's just terrible that something like that people are gullible enough to believe something like that, and that we in America are not doing anything to counter that. But let's talk about reports from this morning that are saying that a mass grave of about 40 civilians was found in Ramadi after ISIS was driven away from that city by Iraqi forces. What are your thoughts on this find?
Well, it's just pretty typical. We've seen them execute. We've seen them cut off people's heads. You haven't seen a group like this. I've mentioned the Nazis, but this is the kind of tactic that Genghis Khan would have used, the Middle Ages. You just destroy your opponents and mass bury them. There are no limits. And once again, we've got to understand, with a group like this with no limits, these are barbarians, and they have to be dealt with with massive force and massive taking them out, or they will just continue to do this. Expect to find more of this in the future.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, if you expect to find more, because these same reports say that ISIS fighters were using civilians, those who couldn't escape the city when ISIS had control of it, that they were using them as human shields to defend themselves against Iraqi forces trying to take over the city. So you expect a lot more of this to be uncovered?
Well, absolutely. Once again, they're going to do whatever they have to do. They're in it to win it. And they have no rules. And, that's why they fight against their fellow Muslims, is that it's about their ideology, their rules, their way. And not just their rules of the highway, it's their rules or you're dead. And so they're not going to do the niceties of normal civilization. They're just going to kill you and bury you. Dig open pits and stuff like that. That's why I use the Nazis as a good example. The Nazis were the same way with the same kind of ideology.
Right, absolutely no regard for human life whatsoever, not even in the context of war where there is loss of human life, but just utter disregard for any living being who isn't following exactly what they say. It's disgusting. Darren,